Welcome to Successfully Unsigned. Today on this episode we have DJ Anna E, which is a little throwback for DJ Patty G, and we talk about how we got our start on WMTS 88.3 Murfreesboro, MTSU's college radio station, and how Anna was actually the one who was responsible for me starting this whole journey of radio and podcasting, and we have so much fun just reminiscing. We also talk about her songwriting journey and how she's still active in radio at WMOT and has her own radio shows. We have a lot of fun together, and along with reminiscing, we also found some new connections with ourselves, whether that be Taylor Swift or musical theater, even find some fun things out about Mr. David's past. And don't forget to follow us to keep up with not just this interview, but some other interviews that we have coming up. We have lots of really cool stuff. So follow us at successfully_unsigned, at Unsigned Podcast on TikTok, and everything else is under su-podcast.com. This is going right now. Welcome to Successfully Unsigned. We got DJ Overheat, DJ Patty G, and DJ Anna E.
Hey.
Long time Patty G fans / anyone who knows the Patty G lore. This is like coming full circle for us.
That's true.
So today we have Anna Waggoner with us, and Anna is someone who's very special to me because, quite honestly, without her, I would not be sitting here today doing this whole podcast thing or anything, because me and Anna were on WMTS, which is MTSU's radio station, college radio station. And Anna is the one who taught me how to do anything radio at the college station, and is the reason why I had a show for almost 5 years at MTSU, which I loved. And Anna now works for WMOT, which is its own radio station.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have her on today and reminisce, but also talk about her life. And because honestly, I mean, I've known you since 2017.
Has it been that long?
It's been that long.
That's wild.
But I don't know that much about you.
Yeah, because you were my intern for a semester, and we, crossed paths, but...
Yes,
yeah.
And we would occasionally see each other. Mm-hmm. But she was always super sweet, and everyone that knows Anna loves her.
Oh, he's being very sweet. He's gassing me up here.
Yeah, the Padawan has become the master now.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just so proud of you. This is such an amazing podcast. I'm so proud.
Thank you so much. I know. Yeah,
I'm gonna cry over here.
Like a proud mom moment right now.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yes. No, actually, I remember there was the first benefit show that we ever had. Mm-hmm. There was this person who was performing, and I was in charge of the volunteer table or something. Mm-hmm. And you're like, come on, Patrick, let's get out. And you were rocking around with me at a show, which now I do that for other people. Well,
yeah.
Not really, but I'm always try and be front row, especially for artists I really like to support and jump around and show that I'm having fun. And so you and a bunch of other people have kind of helped me come out of my shell to, like I said, kind of do things like this. Aww. So I just was I really want to have Anna on. You're just have such a great personality, and it'll be nice to hear a solid radio voice.
Oh, thank you.
I
just
podcast.
feel so good right now.
Thank you. Gonna compete radio voices. Good morning. Good morning. I can't even do it.
Is that what my voice sounds like, dude?
No,
I'm joking.
Okay, this is Anna would always do this for her show. She would always be like, "Welcome to 88.3 WMTS, and you are listening to Around the Waves with me, DJ Anna E." And it was every time it ate every time.
Oh my god, I can't believe remember that. Would I really? I think that was subconscious because I don't remember doing it.
I think you did. I really think you did.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, it was such a blast. So
that was such a fun time.
I don't know. I guess take us from the beginning. What are your origins with music? How did you decide to get into radio? Was it, for me, it was literally just I happened to see the ad at MTSU and was this sounds cool. I'll try it.
Yeah, I think it was when I was touring MTSU. They take you through the College of Media and Entertainment building, and they were like, we have a student radio station there. And I'd never, I mean, who's really considered working in radio that's in our generation?
Yeah,
it's not really
exactly.
something you think about, but I was like, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. And I interned there and had my Around the Wave show there, and then taught more interns. And it was, I think we were talking earlier, it was my favorite thing about college, for sure.
Yes.
And realized I have a passion for radio, which is not something I'd ever really thought about before. And so when I was in college, I started interning at the professional radio station that's also housed at MTSU, WMOT. It's it was a jazz station for like 50 years, and it's an Americana station now. We partnered with Roots Radio, which is no longer a thing, but that's okay. So I started working part-time. I started off as a board op there while I was in college, and I met with one of their program directors, and he heard my voice and he said, I'd really like you to be on air. It was, I don't even know if you remember Greg Lee. He worked on the jazz side. That's okay.
The name sounds so familiar.
That's okay. He was there. But I started doing it when they were a jazz station. I had a jazz show there. And
I didn't realize you were there while it was still jazz.
Because they had the jazz frequency while they still had, it was like there was an overlap a little bit. Okay. So I had a jazz show on the weekend, and then I had like a 4-day weekday show as well on the Americana station, and I was doing Around the Wave. So I did a lot of radio in college, but it was, I loved it though. It was so much fun, and I got to be on air, and then I got to learn a lot of the different behind the scenes parts of radio, and I just loved all of it. I thought it was all really fun. And so after I graduated, I stayed on there. I'm still on air there, and I became our traffic and underwriting coordinator, which is people that don't know radio jargon. It's just selling advertising and scheduling it all on air. So I started doing that, and then in maybe around the time of the pandemic, all my years are blurring together, but around the time of the the time of the pandemic, I had like a regular shift on air, and I had an idea for a show because I'm a songwriter and I was always really passionate about songwriting, and I had an idea to pitch a show that would focus just on songwriters. And I pitched it to our program director for like 6 months before she finally gave me the green light, because I really wanted to do it. So I ended up doing about 100 episode, like 2-year run of a show called Song Tellers on WMOT. It was so much fun. It was my baby. I put like all my blood, sweat, and tears into that show, kind of like I guess you guys do with the podcast. So it was a weekly show. It was a 30-minute, like really intense biography. I would pick a different songwriter each week and go like into their childhood, and then into like how they got into music, and how their songwriting styles. And a lot of our songwriters that we play on WMOT write songs for bigger artists. So like I did one on Lori McKenna. She writes songs for Tim McGraw and bigger people, like people like that also record their own music, but then they're not really household names like their songs are. You know what I mean? Yeah,
that's awesome. Because I feel like not a lot of people do that for like actual songwriters. It's just like the performers kind of get all the clout, but
exactly,
people don't even really write most of the songs.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I wanted to do it, because I just think the craft of songwriting is just so interesting to me, because it's so different for everybody. So I did that, and that was my baby, and I went into a full-time position about 1.5 years or 2 years ago, whenever I ran into you on campus, and you were like, what are you doing here? I was like, I work here.
Excuse me, intern. Know your place, intern, okay?
No, not like that. But I'm the business manager there now. So I had to take a step back from Song Tellers, because there aren't enough hours in the day for me to do that. But I'm still on air 3 times a week there, and I still manage all the underwriting traffic, and now I manage all of our finances too. So
staying busy.
Wear a lot of hats there. We're a small crew, so we all kind of do that.
A little bit. Okay.
But it makes it it's not boring, you know? There's no day where I'm just doing the same thing all day. I mean, it's,
So did you graduate like with your degree in radio? I forget.
My degree was recording industry music business.
Okay.
Which I guess could encompass radio, sure. I don't even remember what my minor was, to be real with you. I think it was mass communications or something. No one asked you your minor after you graduated college.
It took me a minute to
I think I took that one radio class they offered in college, but I learned more just from working at WMOT, right? Getting experience.
That's what it's all about.
The best teacher, right?
No, that's really cool that you were able to do that and kind of create this little show for yourself, because I know like how you were saying, like at WMTS, the great thing about WMTS is it was quite literally, as long as you followed the FCC guidelines, like you had full range.
And I know that like I'll never get that opportunity again on radio. Like I know I would for like you guys can do whatever on your podcast and everything, but in radio, I don't even know other student stations that got to do that. Literally, you could have played white noise for an hour if you'd wanted to. As long as it's legally within FCC guidelines. I mean, you could play whatever you wanted and say whatever you wanted, within within reason. Which is just, I don't think we really knew how good we had it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was really, really special.
Yeah. She was talking about how one time I would always have like a different theme, and how one time she was driving around listening to my show, and it was Chocolate from Dora the Explorer, because it was like Mexican theme.
Because I was driving and I was like, Latin music. I was like, Shakira, yeah. And then it was Dora, and I was like, okay, that's cool. I dig it though. I like it.
There was one time that I interviewed an alien.
What? Okay, I didn't hear this one. What's that?
My theme, I think one of the first episodes I did was a space theme.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, let me do a space theme again. And except this time, let me interview an alien. And I had this old picture of me from high school with like this inflatable alien that I used to own. And so I like posted that and was like, come listen to my show. I'm going to interview my friend Charlie, the alien. And I literally like went on YouTube and looked up like alien noise. And it was like, like it was like this like robotic alien sounding language. And I was like, so Charlie, tell me about da-da-da. And I wish I had a recording of it, because it honestly was so funny. It like got to the point where like you said, you had pretty free range, and also they weren't really like checking.
They were not monitoring at
they
all.
were not really
they were
not that I did not do anything against FCC guidelines. I still made sure
some people did though, and nobody ever.
But I made sure too that like I played, because we always had to play at least 2 or 3 new songs every hour.
Yeah. Then we had to like talk about the weather or something.
Yes, I made sure that I followed all the rules.
We did. Every time we had to talk about a current event, and they were like, your current event can be the weather. So we were all like, it's sunny. Now back to my music.
Literally, I'm just picturing Patrick just like talking like about Dora or like to the alien and be like, oh, by the way, it's also sunny outside and like a chance of rain. Anyways, Alan or whatever your alien's name, Adam. Oh my goodness.
Was that the whole show for an hour? Was just I was like, that's a lot. That's a lot. Okay.
I could have been that hard.
That's
I played
really cute,
space
though.
music, but during breaks I would interview the alien.
That's really cute. I love that.
And so it got to the point where like I was not getting bored, but I was like, okay, how can I just make this weirder? And like I did a whole whenever Free Britney happened, like whenever she was finally let go of the conservatorship, I did a whole Britney show. And we were talking about, I used to do Facebook Lives because our streaming wouldn't always work, and I literally brought my Britney doll, which is down there, and just like had her sitting there the whole time just with me. And like I did like meme songs. Like I just kind of was like, I don't know what else to do, so here we go.
Whatever you want.
Yeah,
that was
and
the
it was
beauty of it.
It was a lot of fun. Like, and I wish I did have some like recordings of it too. But, it was really special and really cool. I remember I was so nervous like when I first started out.
Were you?
Yeah, I remember we had to do like a little intern takeover. So we took over your show.
Yeah.
And I remember I played a song from Melodrama by Lorde. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you guys should really go listen to this album. It's so great. And you're like, hey, so one of our rules that we can't do calls to action. So you cannot say like, you should go do this. You said you can go listen to this. And you're like, hey, just a reminder. And I was like, oh, I'm such an idiot.
No, that's why I had you guys like take over my show right before your intern test, so that whenever you had your own show, you already worked the kinks out. Though.
I used to write a script.
Yeah, I used to as well.
Every single episode. And then it got to where I was like, whatever.
The first like a couple months that you have a show, I definitely did that. And then I still do bullet points for mine just so I'm not on air. And then, your mind blanks and you're like, what's my name again? And you know, like you have the stuff there for you.
So one thing you were talking about with your storyteller or songteller.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I named it after Dolly Parton's book, Songtellers.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. That's really sweet. Well, it sounds like you were really into the research of it, which I really love, because that's what I love about this show is like any interviews we have, like we just did one, I feel like we've been bringing her up every episode, but Anastasia Elliott, she has been doing music for like 13 plus years,
Oh, wow, yeah.
and her whole album has like this whole storyline behind it. She's been on like 18 different podcasts. I listened to like every single one, had like pages and pages of notes. So is that something that you really enjoy doing, like the research of it and everything?
I mean, that's definitely what I did for Songtellers. And I mean, to be honest with you, that's what I do in my free time. I just look up artists that I like, and I'm like, I wonder everything about them I can find. You know what I mean? So I was getting paid to do it, and I was going to do it anyway. So that was really cool.
Did you ever do any interviews on WMTS? I don't remember.
On WMTS? I did several just with local people or people that I knew or to ask.
Any that I did were like with my friends.
Yeah, but I didn't it wasn't like an interview show. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I would do them every now and then. I just remembered this. For like a stretch of time, maybe a semester, I would have musician friends come on and do like live bed music for me. So I used to have like the bed, just the bed music under me talking. And I was like, well, I'm sick of hearing the same instrumentals that I downloaded or whatever. So I would get some like guitar friends come to play, or like I had a guy on keys one time. That was cool.
That's really smart.
You just jogged that memory for me.
No, that's really cool that you did that. I would just like sit there
just to change it up,
That's smart. Yeah. I've noticed like some people do that, and I'm like, man, I really should have done that, because it literally was always just me yapping.
I mean, that's what it is usually at like a professional radio station. Like I don't have bed music at WMOT, right? But it added to the vibe of it.
And yours was like 100%. The way that she would talk was just like so like soft and
it was vibey.
Like literally the around the waves, like it's such an accurate.
It was expanding your sea of great music.
Literally, it's like those apps you can like download, like where the person like not put you to sleep, like
thanks
tells you a story, Yeah.
People would always tell me I sounded like Delilah, and I was like, oh, all right.
Delilah, who's
you know Delilah, like the radio station,
like Delilah After Dark. Is that who it is?
Delilah.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that on Mixed 92.9? I think.
No
I don't
idea.
think you sound like her, but okay.
Thank you. I mean, I like Delilah. Like I grew up listening to her because my mom loved her, especially like around Christmas time. She would like be like, "Tell me your Christmas story and your love story." But I mean,
maybe the male version of her. I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't confuse you with her. On there.
No.
That's okay. I was like,
they meant like male version. Like
okay.
My soft voice.
I can see. Okay. I can see that then. Yeah. Okay. I was like, you don't sound like a woman.
Yeah. I was like, burn. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
No, so shout out to Delilah. Come on the show.
Yeah, she's great.
Hey there, Delilah. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Continue.
So what do you like kind of the music that you get to play at WMOT?
Yeah, and I mean the thing is I didn't know a lot about Americana before, like when I was in college and before I interned there, and it's just really expanded my music library, my knowledge base for sure. And Americana, just it's such a broad term. It's everything from like alternative country, like Casey Musgraves, Chris Stapleton, to bluegrass, to roots rock, and then on like the opposite spectrum, one of my favorites are like we play a lot of blues. We like old school blues. Yeah. We even have a show where we play like old school rhythm and blues and funk from like the 60s and 70s. So it's really expansive.
Dale needs to listen to your station. He would love that.
Yeah, it's really expansive, which is what makes it really cool. And there's always new stuff on there that I'm even discovering, even though I work there.
Yeah, for sure. That was the one thing I love about WMTS is like, since it was an alternative station, they didn't want you to play like all the hits. So I found so much new music through that. And then even now, through the many like artists that we meet, I have found even more new music and like constantly discovering artists.
I love discovering new music.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
What kind of music like is your favorite?
What a loaded question.
I know.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like most people in our generation don't just listen to like one genre. Do you know what I mean?
That's so accurate for our generation.
I feel like for our generation, we didn't grow up being like, oh, I'm gonna listen to country or whatever. But any song that's written well for me. Okay. I really don't usually care.
Are you
about
more
the
of like
genre.
you listen to like the melody or instruments, or you listen more to lyrics?
More to lyrics, but like the melody has to be there. It can't be a super boring melody, or else it's just a poem awkwardly set to music. Like it's gotta be there. You know?
Can I ask, like, obviously, you kind of act as sort of a gatekeeper as to what like is played. Is that an accurate statement? Like do you choose
for WMOT?
Yes.
So how it works for most radio stations, including ours, is the program director chooses everything. When I had song tellers, I did get to pick what was played, but for just my regular on-air shift and everyone's regular on-air shift, it's the program director that schedules it. Yeah. Cool.
So when you had the song tellers, like what was your criteria? Like you had said you did like some research on, is it just for the artist that you, or the songwriter that you were researching for that?
Repeat your question again.
Okay,
sorry.
So how did you choose what songs were played?
I mean,
song tellers.
I tried to choose songs that we weren't already playing in rotation on WMOT because I wanted people to hear something new. And then honestly, I just went through whatever songwriter, you know, I usually picked someone who had recorded their own stuff so that I could be playing something their vocals and what they had recorded. And I just went through their catalog and discography and just whatever moved me personally. It was just like a personal choice. Like I like that song, I'm going to play it. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. And I tried to vary it up. Like I didn't want to have all slow songs or all, you know what I mean? Like
it's a good variety.
Right. Yeah.
So what is kind of your background, like even before the radio station or anything like that? Like I know you did some songwriting and you said that you kind of want to get back into it. I do want to circle back to that maybe closer to the end. But what kind of what's your background with music? Like, did you grow up doing any sort of music? Did your family do any sort of music?
No one in my family is musical. I have absolutely no idea where that like comes from. But no, I mean, I grew up loving music. I grew up listening to top 40 country actually until I was in like middle school. That's all I listened to because that's just what my dad listened to and he controlled the radio. But you know, Rascal Flatts was my first concert. I don't know if you guys understand. Yeah. But no, I still love country, but you know, I started expanding my musical taste and like digging around in my mom's like alternative CD closet when I was in middle school. But no, I started playing guitar when I was, I don't know, 11 maybe, and learned piano in high school, and I play a little bit of ukulele and harmonica now too. But I've been songwriting since I could play the guitar. I mean, the writing aspect of it was always my core passion for me. Like writing a song, I really wanted to learn to play guitar so I could write a song. Do you know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. So I've never stopped writing. I've had periods where I recorded more than others. But I mean, I'm always writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you the type to do like lyrics first, or are you music first person? It
depends. I mean, lyrics are easier for me for sure, but
really?
Yeah, it kind of just depends. I have this like little journal songbook, and I will just sit down. I can't co-write. I've tried to co-write so many times, and I'm awful at it. I think it's a different skill set. It requires something that I don't think I have, because I've tried with like multiple different people, and I always walk away thinking I just like made it worse, whatever we did. But I think it's because of the way I songwrite, because I like lock myself in, I need to be by myself in a room. I have my songwriting journal, and I will free write for like 10, 20 minutes or something.
Yes.
And then and it doesn't matter, like not trying to like make it rhyme, or just like, you know,
just a
stream
like a
of
topic.
Stream of consciousness just dump on my mind. And then I'll go back and like highlight stuff that sounds cool, or like, oh, that could rhyme, I don't know. And then kind of build a song out of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's a good like structure. Just
writing
down thoughts and just kind of organizing thoughts afterwards. I think a lot of people think, oh, it has to rhyme, it has to like play into this like word scheme, but I think that's a good like structure for it.
I think they say that even just for like writing really anything, whether it's like a book or a movie script or even like essays. Like I remember in school they would always just be like, all right, just write it down, and then like you can organize it later.
Exactly. Yeah. And anytime I've ever tried to sit down and be like, I want to write a song about this, it doesn't come. It's just whatever's there at the moment. You just have to let it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And are you the type that like, once you have an idea, you have to flesh it out like right there? Because I know I've talked to some artists, and I'm kind of like this too, where it's like I'll write something, and then I'll have to like go to bed or something, or like I'll choose to go to bed and like wake up, and then it's just so different if I try and continue that idea.
It depends on how urgent the idea feels. I feel like if you have written songs as well, you might know that like sometimes truly it feels to me like the song is about to like come out of my body.
Yeah.
And if it's one of those cases, I have to write it down because it's not like it's already coming to me fully formed. And I'm like, I have to, like, my phone, I've woken up out of a dead sleep and like recorded stuff into my phone, you know, like, and it didn't sound as good as I thought. In the morning I'm like, I bet that was awesome, and it like usually isn't. But
just roll over off the pillow.
That's literally what it is. Yeah. But no, I mean, there have been times when I'm like, piano, and I had to like run to the piano and like get something out of me, and then it just stopped, and I was like, I guess I'll finish it later. But if it's not urgent and it's just like, I have a cool line, I'll write it down and come back to it later. Yeah.
Love that.
Okay, well, I do want to talk a little bit more about your songwriting, but we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
So we will do that.
Okay. Cool.
What's up, guys? Just want to take this quick opportunity during the break to remind you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Go to our website, su-podcast.com. Go follow what we're doing. A lot of great interviews coming down the pipeline. We want you to be involved. Join our newsletter. Go to the website, see what you can find out about what we have coming up, because we are really excited for this new season and all the things that we have planned for you guys. It's going to be awesome. So definitely get there, subscribe to us, follow us, let us know what you think about what we're doing. It's so important to us, and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.
Welcome back to Successfully Unsigned. Wait. Okay, for some reason I thought I said our name wrong for a second. I was just at camp, and so many people people are like, your name is so great, but then it's also like so long. I think people will be like, unsuccessfully signed, and I'm like, no, it's like successfully unsigned. But I know it's a lot of S's, a lot of U's. There's a lot going on. Our co-host can't say the website. It's fine.
S-U,
S-U.
not S-U.
It's a great name, though. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it took us a while to figure it out.
Yeah.
We were like, all right, we have all these ideas for our podcast. Now, what's the name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That took like a month to name the show.
Yeah. It was the same way with like the radio station though too, like On the Noise, which looking back, like I don't even love the name of that.
I like it.
But thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was like, I don't know. And my friend was like, do Looney Tunes. I was like, no, I don't want to do like a cartoon. But I'm like, actually, that would be
that would have fit with the alien for sure.
It would have definitely fit with like my vibe. Like I think when I got to college, I was trying to be like more serious. And like, I remember like I toned down my wardrobe a lot, even though it was still like not as toned down as most people. But I remember like I tried to like reel it back. So I was like, okay, I need to be more grown up now. And then here we are.
No, you don't. No, it's all good. This is so fun.
It's so much fun. Okay, so I want to get into songwriting, because I was saying like I knew you did some songwriting back when we saw each other more, but I didn't realize you were getting back into it.
Yeah.
So kind of what was the decision behind that? Kind of what was any sort of like inspiration, or was it just like you said, just had to get it out there?
I mean, to be honest, I never stopped writing. Like I've been writing since I was, I don't know, 11 or 12, and I'd never really stopped. I haven't recorded in a while. I've just kind of been writing little one-off songs here and there, but I had an idea for a concept album for a while.
Love
excited.
Me a good concept album.
I'm so excited about it. I have 2 songs left to write for it. It's a 12-song album. Yes, it's a 12-song album. And I finally just had enough time after I graduated college where I was like, I think I have time to really sit down and, I'll be writing songs and I'm like, that's a great song, but it doesn't fit with the album. And that's why it's taken me, I think, so long to write it. And so basically the idea for it is I really like writing just about the human condition in general, which it sounds really broad, but I grew up around nature, and there were like woods behind my house, and I grew up like surrounded by trees and everything, and I've always seen nature imagery started popping up in a lot of my lyrics, and I thought this is something that obviously I'm gravitating towards, and I'd like to kind of flesh that out a little bit. And so the album, every song on the album is assigned a different season. It's like summer, all the way back through spring and back around again. And so the album starts out in summer and has 3 summer songs and goes into fall and winter and spring.
Okay.
Kind of, it's just I think life itself is really cyclical, and I think that that's just a really nice metaphor for how it can feel like you're stuck in winter forever, but it's always going to come back around. I really like looking at life like that. And so, I have 2 songs left to finish on it, but I'm really, really excited about it.
Okay, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, do you have any idea of when it may or may not come out?
When those 2 songs come to me, and
okay,
and
gotcha.
Like I said, I keep writing more songs, but I'm like, that just doesn't it doesn't
Yeah.
fit when it's such a like structured concept album like that.
Oh my god, so that could be so good. Like, which I know we talked about social media some and how you're not really like huge.
I'm
into
trying.
it,
I'm being better.
This could be like a perfect opportunity. You know, people are like, I think I just wrote the song this summer. You could be like, I think I just wrote the song this summer, but I also wrote a song for the winter.
Yeah.
And for the spring and for the fall.
I'm gonna steal that. I'm
Yes,
gonna steal that
do
from
it,
you. That's
do it.
perfect.
Take it right
I
now.
love that. Yeah. So hopefully there've been a couple of days where I'm like, I'm just gonna lock myself in my room and like really try to work on it, because I've had it in my head for a while and I've been working on it for years and I really want to get it done. But it's just those last 2 songs are evading me at the moment.
So you said during the break that you just did a live show in Smyrna.
Yeah.
Have you been doing more live shows recently? Did you stop doing them for a little while, or have you kind of been doing them all this time?
Yeah, I stopped doing them during the pandemic, to be honest with you. I just didn't want to be in crowds. But I'm trying to get back into it. And the show I played in Smyrna was really fun. It was with the city of Smyrna puts on this like festival every summer. I don't know if you guys ever, it's called Simply Smyrna, but it's with this nonprofit that I used to work with. And they're really, really fun. And I played a writer's round with them. So that was really fun. And I got to kind of like workshop the songs a little bit to see, how people would respond. And it was a really positive experience. It was fun. Yeah.
The writers rounds I've always found are really cool to just like, I always try out new stuff at writers rounds and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you learn a lot about your own music through those. So
Absolutely.
It's really cool. And you meet people too. It's like networking opportunity.
That's a really good outlook on it, because I have trashed writers rounds many times on this show. So I need to
like going to them or like being in them.
Going to
them.
I don't write music.
Do you think they're boring? Is that what it is? Am I right?
Yeah,
I can see how if you're not a songwriter, it might seem boring to you.
Yeah, I think just for me, a lot of times it's like you have to like you look at other. There have been some that I have like really enjoyed, but it's funny because literally we're having 2 people next week on that run a writers round. But there's this like a specific like niche with it. It's called Swift Artists. Anyway, it's this whole thing. But I think just for me, like a lot of times too, you like see the other artists that aren't performing up there, and they just kind of have to be like, wow, like whether they're pretending or not. It's
Are you talking about on stage with them?
Yes, on stage.
Oh, I see what
Like,
you're saying. I see what you're saying.
And then whoever goes afterward, they have to be like, wow, that was so beautiful.
That was amazing.
It's like,
it's like poetry. Really
okay, like, but I definitely see the benefits of them. And we posted a reel because I did this post-show interview, and she was like, I'm tired of writers' rounds. I was like, period, yes, I hate them. And so, like, this writers' round, I guess, organization that just started up with a mutual friend that I have, like, commented sad face.
Oh, Patrick, no.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, you're the exception. Sorry.
I can see how they're not for everyone.
They're not.
I think you need to be really into like songwriting to appreciate them.
And like I do love me some like really good lyrics. I do love like we've especially some artists we've had on, like I love like that kind of more acoustic style, but I think when I'm seeing it one after the other of different artists, and like usually if I'm going to a writer's round, I either don't know anyone or I only know 1 or 2 people there, and I'm just like,
well, and that's the thing too, is it is so stripped, so if the song isn't there, it's like out, you know what I mean? Like it's the bare bones
there,
of it. It's right out there.
Well, and that's the thing, it's like you're not like, if I'm there for one person, it's not like I can just come for their set. Like I quite literally have to at least watch 2 to 3 other people with them.
And you hope that they're good.
Yeah, and if they're not, then I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm bored.
I got you.
But
Which is kinda
I will,
sad.
if you do a writer's round, I'll come to it. I promise.
Will you behave at the writers' round? Will you be
I'll
good?
like have a sign that says boo, like boo writers round, protest the writers round.
Well, I've seen some people like, I've played some writers rounds where people are like not nice after the song.
Oh.
Yeah. There's
Like the other people on stage?
Yeah.
Like they said, man, that sucked afterwards?
No.
or something?
It was more like someone would play and then the next person would go and they go, eh. And then they start playing.
Okay,
So
that's
it's
bad.
not always
Passive
like,
aggressive.
That's
little bit.
really bad.
It's a lot of egos, but like it's also it's a vulnerable place for a lot of songwriters too.
Yes.
It has no
So-
place for an ego at a writer's
No,
round. Get out of here.
not
It
at all.
is like a good place for starting out too. I do think. I think I prefer more like open mics. Even though open mics have their very fair share of like awkward moments. Like I used to go to open mics a lot when I was in high school, and there were so many times I was like, don't laugh. But
then it's like over in like 2 songs though.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Versus like writers' rounds, I'm just like,
oh.
So, I need to stop hating on them, because I do see the importance in them, and like I do see your point, like if you're someone who's more into like songwriting, whereas like me, I'm like, I want to have fun at a show, like I want to like jump up and down.
It's not a
like,
dancing time where you're like feeling the beat. You're like really there being like, that was a well-crafted song. So I can get that.
Yeah. And there are definitely like songs that do that for me. It's just, I think it takes some, really special people. So
that's fair.
Which I have seen at Writers Round. So I need to give them more chances. And I would like to formally apologize to all of our Writers Rounds friends, because I know that they're out there. Genuinely, they are.
You're boring. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
And get Anna on some of them.
Yeah, I'd love to
also
play some more.
get her on some of her solo stuff.
Yeah,
I'll enjoy those more.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I'll just invite you to those, Patrick.
Yes,
I'll only invite you to those.
Okay, so as far as like radio goes, I did want to ask too, do you guys host any like artists on the station or any? So many.
Well,
okay.
they don't come in the studio, but we host so many live shows like in Nashville. I mean, like 2 a week, like so many.
Oh, wow.
So we do one every Friday at 3rd and Lindsley during the day. We do one a month. It's our Wired In show. Then we have our own festival we run. We have a tent at Americana Fest. Like we are doing a lot of live shows. Yeah. But as far as people coming in the studio, not as many. I've done like 2 artist interviews I think the time I've been there. So yeah.
So do you, I mean, I'm assuming that like gives you a lot of networking opportunities.
I mean, yeah, you just meet really, really interesting people, and like meeting artists in the green room is always a fun time. You never know who you're going to vibe with. That's an interesting, fun time for sure.
Yeah. Do you, is there any like advice that you would have for anyone who's, okay, I guess here's a good question for, shout out to Becca Trimmel. Someone who I do enjoy on Writers Rounds.
I know her. I think I interviewed her on my Around the Wave show. That name is, I think she was one of my first interviews on my Around the Wave show.
Belmont, or?
She did. She went to Belmont.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had her on this show.
No way.
Yes.
She's so sweet. I love her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Actually, I think I remember us talking about that. I'll have to check my text.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I do remember that now, but I don't remember. She just released a song called Average Joe.
Oh, nice.
And it was about this guy who she tried to like pitch her music for whatever radio station he was a part of, and he like completely turned her down in a very rude way. So what advice would you have for anyone who is looking to get their music on the radio, / how does that work? Or is that something that you're not really a part of with WMOT?
I mean, that is not my area that I am in with WMOT. I will say it does help to be on a label, because we're an independent station, so we're a little different, and we'll play a lot of independent artists that we just know or send us stuff. But I mean, if you want to get on like one of the, iHeart stations, one of the big stations, they really only take people who are with labels and who the labels are pushing.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So that's not the greatest answer, but I'm sorry, that's not
for
super
all of our
uplifting.
Independent artists, which is our audience.
I mean, but like to send, if you're an indie artist, to send your music to AAA stations like WMTS or like college radio stations, like literally just Google AAA stations in the US and just send your stuff out to everybody, because they need people to play. So, and you can make money. I mean, if you're registered with BMI or ASCAP, I mean, you can make money off that for sure. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's some great advice.
102.9 has like a song of the week they play. That's
do they?
I think it's like I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a upcoming band in Nashville or something. But I don't know if you have to be on a label.
Probably them
not.
and like Lightning and like different independent stations around in like WMOT.
Well, it would make sense, because I mean, Nashville's literally like piled with independent artists. So
you got to find some way to weed them out.
Going and like looking up AAA stations for an independent artist.
That's a really smart idea. Like even just for like around the country, right?
And even college stations. And
I mean,
airplay is airplay. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah. I mean, you never know who's gonna be listening. Yeah, I mean, WMTS, honestly, that is, even with college stations, I don't know how it is with other college stations, but like I said, at WMTS, we had to play at least, I think it started out with 2, and then it turned into 3 new songs an hour.
Yeah, I think so.
And
of just artists that would send us their CDs.
Yeah, and so like I always struggled of what I wanted to play. So that's something that's really helpful of reaching out to people. And I know there were some shows that would feature like local artists as well, which was really cool. So
yeah,
I definitely think that is probably the way to go. I wish I had done more stuff like that, like the stuff that we're doing now. I wish I had done more of that on WMTS, but
you were too busy interviewing aliens, I guess.
And Dora. And
like I was too busy with all the intergalactic
there's a lot out there.
pop stars. Actually, there's literally a girl around Nashville, shout out Alexis Dawn, and her like whole shtick, I guess, is that she's an intergalactic pop star. She's an alien. So
cool.
We did a little post-show interview with her, but I really want to have her on here, and I'm gonna be like, actually, do you know my friend Charlie?
I love that.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I've always wondered this, and I'm not sure if you can speak to this or not, but I've heard that, and I know you don't go like you don't pick like what's played or whatever, like. As far as length of song, I've heard from people that like 3.5 to 4 minutes is like what most stations, the length of each song that they play. Do you guys stick to that? And if so, do you take that into consideration when you write your own songs?
That's such an interesting question. Actually, it used to be 3.5 to 4 songs about 10 years ago. Now it's more like 2.5 minutes. Which
really?
is, but that not for our station, more for like a big mainstream iHeart station. For our station, we play like 8-minute Bob Dylan songs. I mean, we don't care.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we like sets us apart from another
Right.
station is we're playing,
Right.
the deep cuts. Yeah, it's just crazy because I listen to the radio now, and I think it has something to do with short form, TikTok videos and everything. It's really just every pop artist that I'm looking at coming out there, every single song on their album is like 2.5 minutes, which is, it always feels like there should be more to me. And maybe that's just because I grew up in that 3.5 to 4 minute like vibe. But yeah, I'm like, how much shorter is it going to get until we're just at a minute song on the,
I feel like it's just, there's like no bridges anymore in songs.
There are no bridges. They're actually like pop songwriters. I love watching interviews with songwriters, and they're saying like, if you even come into the studio with a bridge, the artist is like, cut that. Like they don't even want that. Yeah, which I love a good bridge. Like I hate that. Yeah, I love a good bridge.
Really
but
good bridges.
when I mean, if you're trying to write a song to pitch to an artist or to pitch to like a big, to be a radio single, you want it to be that length. But like for me personally, I don't care. No, I'm just writing until the song is over, and that might, Yeah.
What would you say your genre of music is for your personal songwriting?
I make good music. No, I'm joking.
EDM.
No, I'm joking. I mean, I really, as far as production style, I like it a little more stripped back because I do like the song to be at the forefront. So I would say if singer-songwriter is a genre, which I feel like it is, I think singer-songwriter just because it's the song for me.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I had a really good question in my head. I forgot it.
We're going to stare at you till you figure it out. And these dolls are staring at me, by the way. Oh my god! I just looked at this camera, and literally every doll, they're all just looking at me.
You have quite the collection.
It's fine. You. They want the ice cream sandwich that's on my shirt. I got 3 on my back.
Love that.
That's fine.
Oh my gosh! And now I can't remember if it was about radio.
So are you guys like on camera too, or is it just the show? Do you guys stream or anything?
Oh, no, it's just radio.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you don't have to worry about like wardrobe and like dressing up or anything.
No, not at all, which is kind of nice.
That is really nice. That is really nice.
I've always loved that idea of like walking into a station and just kind of like being in sweats or whatever. Not being in sweats, but like just being comfortable and just talking,
I would say sometimes I do like to look a little nicer than that, just because I feel like when I'm wearing sweats, I feel more sluggish, and I feel more like, hi guys, I like to, if I'm dressed more like I am right now, I'm just like, hey, I'm a little more perky.
Right.
But that's just me personally.
That's accurate. I feel like I'm the same way, but I feel like it's cool to just have like your voice be your appearance almost. That's your identity. It's cool.
It's really fun.
Okay, so I remembered the question.
Yes.
So you're on a radio station. Yeah. We're on a podcast. So the big debate, which I think we probably talked about this back in 2017, but now even more so, it's times have changed. So what is your outlook, opinion, discourse about radio stations dying out?
Yeah, that's a good question. No, that's a fair question. That's a good question. I think that radio is changing and it has to in order to survive. You know, they're doing a lot more online content. It's really focused a lot on live events and like pop-ups and things like that. I don't think radio is ever necessarily going to die, but I do think it's going to continue changing. There are less independent stations now. More stations are getting bought out by like Cumulus and iHeart and things like that. And I think we're going to see more of that. And more. There's internet radio stations now. Those are getting bigger.
Really?
And obviously then you're also looking at like
how does that even work?
How does it work? It's just online streaming, just like our stream, and it's, you know, the same regulations, I believe, maybe slightly different regulations. I'm actually not sure.
What is like Sirius? Is that?
That's satellite radio.
That's satellite radio.
And I think they have a monopoly on satellite radio, so Sirius and XM combined, and I think they're the only satellite radio right now, and that's its own beast as well, which obviously you have to pay for that, and that's how they get their, you know, funds. But
well, yeah, I feel like radio alone had so much competition with just streaming.
Streaming tried to kill radio, but I think that people look to radio for like music, just some music discovery, a lot of contests and like ticket giveaways, and I think the talk aspect to a lot of radio stations helps a little bit, you know, listening to morning talk shows on your drive to work, or that's really more about the mainstream radio. Like what we do at WMOT, we're all about like music discovery. People listen to us because they're tired of hearing whatever else is coming up, and our DJs, like, I do full research on all of my shows, and really I'm like, this guy played trumpet on this song, you know, because just people like that listen to our station want to learn stuff like that. So more of a music education kind of thing that you don't get when you're just listening to a song on Spotify.
Well, and even that with like, I mean, not just competing with streaming and whatever else, but also with podcasts, because podcast itself is just so saturated. Like,
I can imagine the market seems crazy saturated.
Like everyone and their mom has a podcast,
right? Yeah,
literally everyone.
I can't imagine.
So just even trying to break through that is really hard. And then these radio stations, I would imagine, I mean, like, I don't listen to the radio, sorry. I mean,
I'm joking. Most young people don't. So I mean, I say young people like I'm 80. Most of you whippersnappers don't listen to the radio. But I mean, most podcasts, they can't usually play full songs on podcasts.
That's very true.
That's a licensing issue, right? So I mean, if I want to listen to music, I'm not going to turn on a podcast, right? So
And also, like, one thing I just thought of was like live news, right? Like if you're on a radio station, they're more likely to broadcast like live things that are happening, where if it's like streaming,
like the weather.
Like the really important things we talked about, like it's sunny and 90. Back to you, Patrick.
Because some people just genuinely want to know, like, what's it going to be like today? What's the traffic today?
I did traffic for a little bit. I filled in for our traffic guy when I was on WMOT. And that was, waking up at 4:30 was not my idea of a good time, but that was fun. I was like, look at me being an official traffic person. Yeah. It was fun. I'd wake up at 4:30, I'd go home and pass out, and then I'd like go back and do the afternoon.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that was fun.
I remember the weather thing reminded me, so at WMTS you could either have a 1 hour show or a 2 hour show. And so after my first semester I was like, let me do 2 hours. This is so much fun. There is so much time, and like 1 hour is like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. And 2 hours is like, when does this end? When does this end? Yeah. And so it got to the point where I started doing, for my news, like I actually was doing full on current events.
Really?
Because I had so much time. So I was like, all right, like I think for one of the hours I would do like the weather, and then the next hour I would be like, let me talk for 10 minutes about this current music business thing going on. And
that's interesting, though.
I did really like it because I was doing like more research, and I remember like I was really into like I think MTSU students had like access to the New York Times, and so I was like reading the New York Times a lot. Interestingly,
I was so bored I read the New York Times.
There was literally like
word for word.
If you know me, I am not someone who watches the news about anything. Like I'm like, you're lucky if you can like get me to pay attention to a TikTok about the news. Like I don't care for it. But I was really into the New York Times at the time, and I remember like I read a whole article about like something with Beyonce. I don't remember what it fully was about, but I like talked in depth about it, and like I think for like 30 minutes.
Wow.
On my 2 hour show, but it's like, what else did I have
it was
to
about
do?
Beyonce though. So
it was about Beyonce. Yeah. Maybe it was, I forget what it I wish I could remember what it was, but it was actually very interesting. I was like, oh man, like maybe I should stick to 2-hour shows. And then by the end of the semester, I was like, never again. Never again.
I think there is something about radio, and maybe this is just me, maybe this is not like the general public, but something about like turning on the radio station and knowing that a ton of other people are also listening to the same song at the same time you are.
Yeah.
It's a sense of community. It, like when I'm in my car alone, it's a different feeling to listen to the radio than it is to like listen to, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you listen to streaming at all?
I mean, yeah, I do. I'm not going to pretend like I don't. Okay. Right? I don't just listen to the radio. Like I discover a lot of music from working at WMOT, and then I discover the rest of my music from streaming. So I mean, yeah, for sure. You can't not, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I remember anytime I do listen to radio, I'm listening to WMTS. Yeah, but it's very rare now, especially. I used to do it a little bit more, especially like when I knew people on WMTS and I was listening to their episode shows. But I feel like I do know some people who still like listen to radio, but even then it's usually kind of like the big radio stations.
Yeah, for sure.
My parents listen to Sirius XM.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Yeah. My parents too. Oh my goodness, dude. I could go on a rant about this. I'm not going to, but whenever I get in the car, they'd turn it on, and it would be 70s on 7.
Yep, I was about to say 80s on 8.
And it was always Eagles Already Gone. That's literally...
That's the only song.
It was literally every time they turn on the car, 'cause I'm all... And I'm like, is there any other song that plays?
My dad always listens to like hair metal. But actually, there was a period of time where Shinedown literally used to give me a headache because my dad had a Shinedown CD that he would always play on repeat. And like, there was...
Rock?
I guess
no, they're not old enough to be dad rock. I was thinking, okay.
But my dad also just likes. I mean, my dad likes Paramore and like other younger rock bands.
Yeah.
But he I remember we were on one like really long trip and it was just Shinedown the whole time, and like I literally started getting a headache. And so like now to this day I listen to Shinedown and I'm like, man, it's really good. Like, I do like their music, but then I'm also like, oh, hey, someone turn this off, please.
Oh, my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
man.
Shout out Shinedown. Come on the show. Okay, we're going to take another quick break, and then we're going to talk about your item.
What's up, guys? Just want to take this quick opportunity during the break to remind you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Go to our website, su-podcast.com. Go follow what we're doing. A lot of great interviews coming down the pipeline. We want you to be involved. Join our newsletter. Go to the website, see what you can find out about what we have coming up, because we're really excited for this new season and all the things that we have planned for you guys. It's going to be awesome. So definitely get there, subscribe to us, follow us, let us know what you think about what we're doing. It's so important to us, and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.
Welcome back to Successfully Unsigned, not unsuccessfully signed.
That would be sadder than
that would be really bad, like unsuccessfully signed.
We just
like,
have failed artists.
They just shelved you, and you're not. They won't let you out of your contract, but like they won't let you release music.
Yeah,
that's the word.
Literally. I mean, I'm sure there's a good story there somewhere.
Yeah,
there.
Well, just not for our show.
So I had a quick question for you before we shared your item, which I'm excited to know about.
Yeah.
Can you share because I know one of the reasons I respect radio so much is because it is live and it's so true to the moment. Do you have any like live blunders that you've had in the past that you'd be willing to share? Or anything that like you guess that you've had that have like any moments where you've been like
there have been a few moments where I had guests on who, you know, you're not allowed to swear, like by FCC guidelines. There are words you're not allowed to say on the radio, and I'm usually pretty good about, I mean, I'm always good about that because I know that that's a really big no if someone caught that, but I always tell our guests beforehand, like, hey, don't swear, but artists don't always remember that. And I've had I had one artist on WMTS that did, but we had the delete button.
Oh, yeah,
so most radio stations, I don't know, like if people know this, it usually runs on about an 8-second delay, so that if something crazy happens, you can dump it, and it's just 8 seconds of silence instead of like the F word being dropped and the FCC fining you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
So I was able to do that on WMTS, but WMOT doesn't have a dump button, which is
stressful.
It's really stressful because there's nothing I can do about it. So I had someone that just I don't think they were in studio with me, actually. I think I was board opping for like a live show we were broadcasting, so I couldn't look at them and be like, hey, stop doing that. And I mean, I think she dropped the F-bomb like 3 or 4 times, and there was nothing I could do. I mean, there was nothing I could do about it. And I would just sat there and I was like,
Anxiety.
Anxiety because I couldn't do anything about it. And she just kept going, oh shit, I wasn't supposed to say that. Fuck, no, I couldn't say that. I was like, stop saying it. It just kept snowballing and it was bad. That made me, I like cringe. Yeah, I was so tense.
Bad.
Yeah, that was bad.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't think I ever had, I think I used the button once.
Yeah.
And it was like a song.
Oh, that you just forgot to censor.
Yeah. I think that was literally it. It was not used very often, but I know that there was like an issue because like there was, what's the period of time like at night that you can like, the rules are a little more loose.
What do they call that? Oh gosh, I remember that. And the word, I don't remember what it's called.
I forget what it was, like a little more loose, so you could
late night. You could be a little bit raunchier. I guess.
But then like people were taking it like way too far.
They were taking it
like
too far.
Getting like way too messy.
Yeah, they were.
And so then they had
be
to like ban that.
Yeah, they had to just be like, nope, all rules apply all the time because you guys are being X-rated on the radio.
Did you ever have a like super late night show?
Right now, I am on WMOT. I'm on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 10, so evenings. Excuse me, my allergies are crazy. And I'm also on Saturday nights from midnight to 3 a.m. To be real with you, I'm not usually live for that. I track it at a time. So
that's smart. Midnight to 3 a.m. I think I did see that on your bio, and I was like, oh, she's working hard.
All of our overnight DJs are tracked because we work 9 to 5s during the day, so that would be crazy.
How does that work then?
How does what work? Tracking?
Like, do you literally just like record it beforehand? And then, okay.
Yeah. Okay. We get sent the music logs like a couple days before, so we can just track it. So everyone can have the weekend off too, which is really nice.
That is really nice.
Yeah.
So wait, you work another job on top of WMOT?
No, just like my 9 to 5 is the business and underwriting manager stuff, and then I'm also like the on air stuff too. So if I also had to stay awake from midnight to 3 a.m., I would just like physically do that. Yeah.
Okay. Remind me, I have a question for you off the air. Okay, so our next segment is called, I told you show and tell, but it's actually called show and yell.
Yes.
So you'll yell your item, but you don't have to like, you can.
Scream it.
You can scream however loud
like
you want.
Blood curdling.
But some people are like, I don't know. And then some people just straight up don't yell, and I'm like, come on.
Well, I did theater, so I know how to project.
Okay.
This is my James Taylor Greatest Hits album. Yay! James Taylor is one of my favorite songwriters ever. I don't know if you guys listen to him.
Love him.
I know like some of his
Fire
stuff.
and Rain probably.
I love You Got a Friend.
Yeah.
That was a song. Actually, I probably played it on one of my first shows.
Did you really?
Probably, because I loved that song around that time of my life.
Yeah, so I got this used back when Hastings was still a thing, and I got it for $0.10 because I don't think they knew what they had. They were just like, this looks old, and I literally got it for 10 cents, and I brought it home, and it's just one of those albums that something about James Taylor's like songwriting and voice is very soothing to me, and it's gotten me through some really hard times. And I remember I was listening to it one day back, I think I got it like before college, and my dad came in and he said, oh my gosh, I had that on 8-track and I took it to college with me, and me and my roommate would listen to it they would just leave the 8-track on all night and listen to it. It was like they moved out for the first time and it was like their comfort thing, it was my comfort thing, but we didn't even know it. And I just think that's really sweet.
Wow, that's cool.
That's why I brought it. It's my comfort album. If I'm just like need to relax, I just throw on James Taylor,
Yeah. So. Him and Jim Croce?
Jim Croce. I have so many Jim Croce albums too. Yeah.
I love him too. Yeah. I wish like he hadn't died so young.
Yeah. We lost too many to plane crashes back in that day.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
But James Taylor is still going, and I saw him on tour back in, I think, 2017, because I thought,
so
no,
cool.
I might never be able to see him. Like,
Oh, yeah.
if you get a chance to go see him, like, go see him.
Yeah.
He was so great.
Come on our show, James. And her
Oh my
show.
God, I would die.
Both
I'm
of
gonna
our
come
shows.
here if James Taylor's
Okay,
here, whether I'm invited
you're
or not.
invited.
I'm gonna come here.
Do you think that like Jason Mraz takes a lot of inspiration from James Taylor? I know.
I've never considered that.
I mean, I feel
I
because
could
like
see that.
Jason Mraz is more. He started out as very like songwriter.
Uh-huh.
Like I know he's more like blues, not blues.
He's like blue-eyed
pop.
soul kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like his earlier stuff, like Mr. A to Z.
Yeah, it's like acoustic though, and it's like it kind of has that like calming element to some of it.
I think the acoustic, and I think if James Taylor talked or sang faster, maybe that would be Jason Mraz. Maybe, yeah.
I feel like that kind of. I hope that style of music doesn't fade away. Like,
That 70s singer-songwriter is
that
very
soft, warm tone.
Yeah.
And that's what I
love that.
kind of try to like in my songs. Like that's the vibe
Okay.
that I want.
Okay.
Kind of.
That
Yeah.
makes
I mean, I
sense.
don't want it to sound just like James
yeah,
Taylor
yeah.
or Joni Mitchell, whoever, but yeah, that kind of same,
That-
really stripped, just like really
Nostalgic
raw, me and
feeling.
my soul right here with my guitar, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, I love me like a good nostalgic sound.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna play a little game.
Oh.
And I did not prepare for this as much as I usually would try to, because I'll be honest, like I said, I did not know that you were getting back into songwriting. But I'm just gonna name some artists,
Okay.
and you tell me if you would collaborate with them or not.
Oh, no. Okay.
Assuming that you are on like the same level as them.
Okay.
So
All right.
like you made it big, you're not doing writers rounds anymore. Or maybe you still are. Maybe you're hosting your own.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But you're hosting them with like huge
Okay.
stars.
Okay.
This is a list for someone else, so some of these are probably not going to be
Okay.
very accurate, and some of them may be dead. But just go with it.
All right.
Bob Dylan.
Oh, hell yeah. Side note, I did a 4-part Bob Dylan show on my songwriters stuff. So I have like 2 hours of Bob Dylan.
Oh,
Because he's such a
wow.
prolific songwriter.
Yeah.
Whether or not you like his songs, like you can't deny that he's
Yeah.
really important. So
Big
anyway.
catalog too.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, sorry.
Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, and a lot of older people tell me that like my songs remind them of Alanis Morissette,
Ooh.
even though I like her. I don't consider her one of my influences, but that's what older people tell
Okay.
me sometimes. So
Well, now
sure, yeah. I was like,
mean,
I'll
I'm
take
interested.
it.
I love
she's,
Alanis
I mean,
Morissette.
she's
a
great.
great
I was like, I'll
songwriter.
take it, you know? Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the first time I listened to Jagged Little Pill, I was like, I think I was 20, 21.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, she was like 18, 19 writing this.
Crazy
and I was like,
talent.
how in the world?
Yeah.
Coldplay.
Yeah.
Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah, she's fun. I like.
Olivia Rodrigo.
I love Olivia Rodrigo.
You do?
Yes,
Oh,
she.
boy.
I think. Do you not?
I love her.
Oh, he
I
said,
love
"Oh boy,"
Olivia
like
No,
y'all
Rodrigo.
didn't, like y'all didn't.
Oh no, that's
okay.
100% up my alley.
Olivia Rodrigo, I think, is one of the best songwriters like of this generation coming up. I
love
think
that
she's
I love
great,
that.
and I think. Side note, do you guys like Conan Gray at all, or do you know who that is?
I know who he is. I really only know like his popular stuff.
Okay, if you like Olivia Rodrigo, I think you'll
They're
like
best
Conan
friends.
Gray.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, they are, but I genuinely think he's the best songwriter out right now. He's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, so listen to
Okay.
Conan Gray. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love Olivia Rodrigo, but I also just love anything like kind of early 2000s, like pop punky, girly.
She encompasses
sort of,
that
yeah,
so well, especially on this new album.
very
yeah.
much so.
Yeah.
Florence and the Machine.
I mean, I don't really know. I know Dog Days Are Over, but to be honest, I don't really know anything else by them. So maybe
Okay.
I don't think that would be respectful enough to them for me to do that.
Let's say Paramore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Haley Williams just
Yeah.
sing me
voice.
under the
So
table.
low.
Yeah.
Her voice. Harry Styles.
Yeah.
Do you like his songwriting?
I loved his first album. That was that
Yes.
Brit rock sound. I wish he
Yes.
would do another album like that.
Me too.
Yeah.
I really love that album. I do like the second one, but like kind of more as a pop album.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not care as much for Harry's House. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not mine.
The songwriting in the first one was really there, especially
Yes.
experimentally, like the opening and closing tracks.
Yes.
Where you just don't hear songs like that anymore, and I thought
Yep.
that was really cool. But
SZA.
yeah, I actually really like.
really? Okay.
I love like new R&B. Like I love Daniel Caesar and Frank Ocean and like SZA and people like that. Yeah.
Adele.
Yeah.
I love Adele.
She's great.
I saw this recent clip of her, and like this guy had bought tickets with like his wife, and she passed away. Like he was an older dude, but he like had either her picture or her his phone with her or something. And Adele saw it, and she literally like started sobbing on stage, and I was like,
gosh.
oh my gosh. I'm like, maybe love is real.
Dark. That's dark.
Beyonce.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Do you guys like Cowboy Carter?
I did not listen to it.
You have to listen to Cowboy Carter.
I did hear it's really good.
Whether or not you like it, it's just an experience to listen to it. I
Okay.
think personally.
My old coworker, he loves Beyonce.
Yeah.
But he would like constantly listen. He's like, I cry every time.
Oh, okay. I don't know about that, but you should listen to Cowboy Carter.
Paul McCartney.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
He's my favorite Beatle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, boo John Lennon.
I agree. I wasn't gonna say that, but
yeah. He was just a bad person.
He was a bad person.
Yeah. David Bowie.
I really don't listen to him like enough to
Post Malone.
I love Post Malone.
Really? Okay.
Here's the deal is that forget the stuff that comes on the radio from Post Malone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His songwriting style, like he started out in country.
Yeah.
So he has these country songwriting roots and the way he structures and writes his songs. And if you listen to his deep cuts from, I mean, pretty much any of his albums, like going back to, I don't know, Beer Bongs and Bentleys or like his first album, they're so touching and they're so good.
Really?
Really well
I've never
written.
really gone into his discography. So
Like go listen to like Stay or like Feeling Whitney or something like that. I mean, I'll cry to Post Malone sad songs. There are Post Malone sad songs, yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's so once again, to bring her up again, Anastasia Elliott, she moved to Nashville when she was like 16. And that was I don't know, back in like 2011 or something. But she's more like kind of, especially at the time, she's a lot more pop. She's a little more like pop rock now, and leaning more into rock. But she said she loves co-writing, and that's how she used to always write. But she loved bringing in country music artists, especially because you're in Nashville. Like, and she was like, at the time, it was mostly still just country. But she's like, I loved it because of their storytelling abilities. And so like she has a concept album that she released last year. And she wanted to work with them because of their writing abilities, but then she kind of turned it into pop with the sound.
Right, yeah. I feel like the production is just like putting little decorations on a song that's,
Okay, so we always end with this one because of our personal beef / not beef with her. Taylor Swift.
Oh, okay. Well, absolutely, I would collaborate with her. Yeah.
We always get a mix. Well, I feel like a lot of people do, but then I know David said he wouldn't just because it wouldn't go with his style. But
you said that you wouldn't.
So here's my thing. I think the question is, would you collaborate? Like if it was just playing guitar for her or something, yes. I just don't think I would get anything creatively out of that collaboration.
Like you wouldn't songwrite with her?
No.
Okay.
See, me, I'm like, let me just ride on the coattails. Even if I'm even if I'm super famous, like no one else is as famous as her, and it's just like,
true.
Yeah, let me get that bag.
When
the bag is a different question.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, that's true. But I mean, she like listening to like, you know, Teardrops on My Guitar when I was in like middle school. I mean, that was really formative for me. Like when I like one of the first songs I learned to play on guitar was like Taylor Swift. So I'm definitely like a fan, mostly of her early work. But I mean, you know, I just think she's really a great songwriter.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I do love her songwriting.
Yeah.
Do you like the All Too Well 10-minute version? Okay, see?
Do you not?
I'm forced him to listen to it.
Is it too much for you? Is it just too much?
Is 10 minutes too much for me?
I know it's 10 minutes, but
little.
like everything she says, I think is pertinent. Like it feels like you're going through a breakup. Like that's what going through a breakup feels like, is that 10-minute lengthy, and it does drag out. It's a breakup. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, but also it's like, can we change the structure of the song like maybe a tad? It's
it did though.
If
in the
it
part where it
wasn't,
hits when she was like, I'm never good at telling jokes, but the punchline, you know that part?
Yeah, but the punchline goes.
She changes up the melody on like lots of it.
Did the twin flame Bruce paint you blue too?
Huh?
See, I think she changed it pretty like melodically throughout the song.
Melodic? Are you talking about like vocally?
Yeah, vocally,
I mean, like,
yes.
Instrumentally is what I'm talking about.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
It just like, you know how you felt about like Rider Sounds? That's how I felt like listening.
Okay,
like,
I can see that. Like you wanted her to start out more like stripped and then like build to something. Okay, I can see that.
More of a build, more of like a climactic thing, because like I'm expecting that, right? Because it's 10 minutes, so I'm like, okay, this is gonna get intense, and I'm like, oh, but it's
okay. I can see that.
I always say I'm Swiftie adjacent, because I'm like, I like all her popular stuff, but the only album I've listened to in full is the first one.
What's wrong with you? You need to go listen to Red right now.
Red?
Yes.
Okay. I probably won't, but I'll tell you I will. I mean, I'll listen to All Too Well like 4 times in a row to make up for a full album.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah,
for 40 minutes.
Yeah, 100%. I'll do it. Okay, I did also want to touch on this because you said you were a theater kid, which I don't remember if I remembered that or not. I think actually I did know that because
I wasn't in college, but I was like before I knew you.
Yeah. And because I remember you did like a whole musical episode.
I did, because I had gone to Broadway like on fall break that time, and I came back and I was like, oh, and I
think Devin was your intern during
Devin
that.
was my intern. Yeah,
Devin and Tate, was that his name?
I can't remember.
Sorry,
it's been so long. I'm so sorry.
He was like he was like obsessed with Heathers, the musical. He had glasses. He was like he was a little quirky, but like everyone loved him.
He seems familiar. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think you had a La La Land record that you played. Mm-hmm. She was like there was a like vinyl setup in
that was the coolest
WMTS,
thing ever.
And she's the only one that I ever saw use it.
Was I the only one that used it? It was a double turntable, and you could like do it where it slid. You know, once this song is over, you slid it and you started the next song. I felt so cool. I felt so cool using that.
It was like under lock and key.
It was. You had to be trained on it, and it was really hard. It's harder to do to get it right on it for radio and then make that seamless transition like you were working. And
some of my transitions were rough. So like, do you miss theater at all?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, me too.
I do. I don't really miss doing musicals because, to be honest, every musical I ever did, by the end of it, I was like, I never want to hear this music again, because you just hear it so much. Was just me though.
That was me like immediately after, but like now I love going back.
Yeah, maybe that's true. I had to go back and listen. That's true.
What musicals were you in?
Oh my gosh, I wasn't in as many musicals as I was straight shows, but I was in the Secret Garden musical.
Okay.
I was like this mean old lady.
One.
Yeah. Why am I blanking on other? I wasn't really in that many musicals. I was in more straight shows. I was in Peter Pan and Wendy, like the straight show, not the musical. I was Wendy. It was fun. I was in To Kill a Mockingbird. I was the mean racist old lady in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Not in real life. Not in real life.
No.
Were there a lot of people auditioning for that role?
If you're listening to this, not in real life. She is a very young woman.
Yeah. No, not in real life. No, of course not. But that's what the play's about, right?
Yeah.
So I was the antagonist in that, and other weird, just obscure shows in high school. But that also seems like that was a lifetime ago. So I'm blanking on some of them, to be honest.
No, I like literally. There's a lot of the musicals that I was in are like still on YouTube.
I can go watch Baby Patrick on.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, most of them like you won't see me a ton.
Which ones were you in?
I was in All Shook Up my freshman year, which is the Elvis jukebox musical, and it is my favorite like theater experience of all time. Which is funny because it was the only time like I was like purely an ensemble member, but they had the ensemble on for the entire show.
That's fun.
Which is like a very strange choice that most people did not like, but me being like 14
just wanted to be on stage.
And I was like, they were like, okay guys, like this is like a jukebox musical, you really need to like be hype and like really be reacting to everything that's happening. So I full on was like
yes.
Like I was getting so into it, or like when there was like an intense scene, I'd be like like I was so
I love that
all in. And like there were people that were like, whoa, you were really getting into it. I was like, yeah, I was. And I never got like a lead, but I was really good in that musical.
Yeah.
And it was just such a fun musical. Like it still like makes me emotional listening to the musical.
That's Elvis songs too,
yes,
so
that too. Yeah. Also like there's a whole like side a story about like this white kid and this black kid wanting to get together, but like they can't because racism. It's in the 50s, but we were like a all white school, so it was like she's from the wrong side of the tracks. It's like, okay.
Oh boy.
And then we did Kiss Me Kate.
Oh, I love that show.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. It's based on Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew. I'm a big Shakespeare like.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, and All Shook Up is based off 12th Night.
I never realized that.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So like she's the man.
Oh my god.
Yep.
You're blowing my mind right now.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. All
we
right.
loved doing shows within a show.
Yeah.
So Kiss Me Kate has a show within a show. And also like a lot of like misogyny in that show too. Also not a huge ensemble, so it was there was a lot of issues with that show, but I still enjoy some of the songs. And then we did White Christmas in March. And our director was fired the year after for that.
Oh my god.
And like we didn't sell, like we sold out every other show, not that one, because no one cares about White Christmas in March.
Yeah.
Even up
Was
in
it cheaper to
Pittsburgh.
get the licensing right after
I
Christmas
don't
or
know
something?
what their decision behind it was.
Okay.
He just really loved the movie. I'm guessing that's honestly why.
Sure.
And like it was fine. I had only a speaking role in that. And I was in the ensemble too. Once again, a show within a show, or that had a show within a show. And then we did The Drowsy Chaperone my senior year.
I don't know that one.
You should look it up. It's a really fun musical.
Okay.
Sutton Foster was
Okay,
in
yeah.
the original Broadway run, which love her. And that's another show within a show. And that was like outside. I think All Shook Up to Me is just forever going to be my favorite because of like the experience and like the nostalgia. But as far as like the actual show, The Drowsy Chaperone was probably like the most fun and has like probably my favorite music from it.
Okay. What's your favorite that have you been to Broadway to see?
Yes.
What's your favorite that you've seen on Broadway?
A year or two, I think 2 years ago, I was at camp. I just came back from camp, and I was helping the kids with some activity. And in the night before, I was considering buying tickets to Funny Girl because I love Funny Girl.
Yeah.
Like love Funny Girl. And they had just announced that they had kicked off Beanie Feldstein, and so I was like, I think Lea Michele is going to be the next one.
Oh,
and I almost bought tickets, but I was like, no, that's an irresponsible decision. Well, guess what they announced less than 12 hours later? I'm in the middle of helping these kids. I'm like, someone else help them. I got something to do. And I'm like on my phone in the middle of camp, like buying tickets.
Oh my gosh.
No idea how I'm going to get to New York City. No idea who's going to go with me.
Had to go see
But I'm
it.
like, I must see Lea Michele. Lea Michele starred in Glee, and like her whole thing in Glee was that she wanted to be like Barbra Streisand and do the Funny Girl revival. And then quite literally that happened in real life because Funny Girl had not been revived on Broadway since the 60s when Barbara was in it. And so it happened around my birthday.
That's
and my
amazing.
friend who has grandparents in Long Island, so we stayed with them.
You stayed all the way in Long Island to go see the Broadway show?
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's
not that
wild.
far from New York City.
Gotcha.
But I flew to Pittsburgh, where I was from. It's actually where my friend lives. Then we drove the 6 hours to New York and then took the train from Long Island to New York City. I was there for less than 24 hours. It was a whirlwind. I forgot like how crazy New York is. Like it's another world. And, we got to see her and she was brilliant. My friend cried. The guy next to me was crying. Like she was, whatever you may think about her and her personal life, you cannot deny that woman can sing so well.
That's
And we were
amazing.
way closer than I thought we'd be.
Yeah.
Like way closer. So it was really cool. It was like a once in a lifetime experience, at least in my mind.
That's such a fun trip.
It
too.
was
It's
so
like a
much
fun little
fun.
thing, yeah.
And then we saw her, like, we went to the stage door, and like someone came out, and I was like, "There she is, there she is!" And I realized they were wearing masks, and I realized like it was just some other girl with like dark hair and a ponytail. And I was like, literally have a video of being like, "Oh wait, that's not her." And then she finally came out, and we saw her, and someone goes, "It's her birthday." And my friend goes, "Oh, it's her birthday? Happy birthday." And starts singing. And the girl's like, "No, it's my friend's birthday. We're trying to tell Lea Michele it's her."
You were just
Like, it was such a crazy time.
so funny.
But it was so much fun.
That's
So that's
amazing.
my 100%, like, will forever be my favorite New York
I
movie.
love that.
Yeah. What was yours?
I mean, Les Mis is one of my favorite shows, and I did get to
Okay.
see Les Mis, and I sobbed. It was so good.
I haven't seen it since the movie came out.
Have you seen like a live?
No.
Okay, you need to see a live.
Okay, yeah, because I did not like the movie.
A lot
But
of
I
people
was
didn't-
also like 12.
A lot of people didn't like the
younger.
movie, but like if you ever get a chance to see like a good company do Les Mis, you should.
I
see Les
do
Mis.
love Lovely Ladies. I listened to
That's
that.
yeah. I mean,
So
that's
much.
it's a song. I don't know what to say about it. Like, A bunch of dark stuff is gonna happen after that. But yeah, but no, I think my favorite. I saw a straight show on Broadway. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. I just really obscure. Okay. I don't know if
it was like maybe
based on a book, and it won, I think, a Tony for its like lighting design. But it was really, really good. It's about this autistic kid and kind of goes like in how he sees things in his mind and how he responds to different stimuli. Like that's how they do the lighting and everything on stage. It's really interesting. It was really good. Yeah.
David, did you ever see any shows on Broadway? No?
Have you been to New York?
I've never been.
Oh, you have to go.
Yeah, you gotta go. It's an experience.
Really,
it's a whole nother world. Like you said.
Literally, and like all the stereotypes are true.
Yeah, they are.
And you guys know I was an actor too, right?
No.
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah, in 5th grade.
Oh.
I starred in a movie, a Bible movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll have to react to it at some point.
Yes,
boy,
that's amazing.
This is
that's random, but
roughly what he looked like. Probably a little bit.
You had a baseball card?
He had a baseball
card. That's awesome.
No,
all of his stats.
Oh my god.
Yeah, how tall I am. No, I was King Xerxes in a play.
That's cool.
And they like filmed an entire movie, and so I was like the lead character.
That's awesome.
Movie.
So if you ever want to watch it and laugh and cringe,
we 100% need to react to that.
And there's bloopers at the end. Oh my god,
that's amazing.
Yeah, but no,
I thought you meant like at your performing arts school. I was like, oh, so you were like in a bougie acting.
No, I almost played. The closest I've ever been to like a musical or anything is like I almost played in the ensemble for Hairspray.
Oh, that's a fun one.
And I got
that's
sick.
A fun show.
I got like so sick 2 weeks before the show, and so they ended up having to have somebody else fill in. But
that's such a good show too.
But I feel like I would love to go to one.
Yeah.
To figure it out, because I feel like I would connect with it just because it's like music, and I've always enjoyed. Like I went to an art school, so I would go to all the musicals, and like I just think it's so interesting.
It really is. And just New York itself, like you just have to experience it, and like the craziness of it, and like people yelling at each other on the streets is like, I mean that's literally like they're gonna cuss you out, or like literally the like forget about it, like is so accurate. We the grandparents we stayed with, like the first time that we stayed there for my senior trip, her great grandmother was living with her grandparents, and she would like be. They were Italian, and so she like only knew Italian, so she like da 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 da, forget about it, da, da, da. Like it was so funny.
That's so
it
cute.
was so just like New York.
It is just as magical as like people say.
Yes.
Like the first time I mean, it's a magical city.
Yeah. Would you ever live there?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if
I'm not a city girl, but like for New York, I would. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. Well, Anna, now that this has turned into a musical podcast, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for
having me.
Where can
people like follow you / listen to you on your show and everything?
Yes. I did get back on social media because we talked about that. I realized that's like a necessary thing for me to do to promote music. But I am on WMOT. You can stream it from anywhere in the world on WMOT.org or on like TuneIn or whatever app people use for radio. I'm on Instagram. I'm Anna_E_radio, or just Anna E. Waggoner. You can look me up. I do have some music on SoundCloud. I haven't recorded in a while, like I said, so it's a little bit old, but it gives you like a taste of what my sound is. So yeah.
Well, and if you follow her, you'll get to see where her music is.
Yeah.
When can people listen to you on the radio?
Oh yeah, I'm on WMOT from 7 to 10 p.m. Central Time on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then I do have a late night Saturday show, midnight to 3 a.m. Central Time, which depending on where you live could be like a better time, or if you're just up late on Saturdays. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Anna. This was so much fun.
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Thank you.
You guys can follow us at successfully_unsigned. Find all of our playlists and everything that's going on. We have so much extra content for you guys on su-podcast.com, or just go over to YouTube and look up Successfully Unsigned and Unsigned Podcast on TikTok. Thank you guys, and we'll see you at the next interview.